Hello. Okay, so I've already gotten started on this at the end of the last video, and what I did was I filed the surface of my nails a little bit. I try not to use these heavy grit ones, but I had black around the cuticle area and I wanted to get rid of it. But I've already pushed my cuticles back. I scraped away my invisible cuticle with our metal cuticle pusher with this end right here. And I've applied primer as well. So I'm actually going to do another layer of primer really quick, just because I've been touching my nails and whatnot while I was off camera. And unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to add, you know what? I'm going to have to add tips to my right hand. So I think I'm actually going to go ahead and put a tip on this finger as well. I didn't want to do that. But if I can find my tips, what I do with them. They are probably, are they in here? They're probably over here in my tip drawer. Dadgummit. Let me see. Yup. Okay. Luckily, it's right there within reach because I moved my table. Say hey when you join me. Let me know who's here. Let's see. I think this one's a 7 or an 8. Let's try an 8. Ah. Yep, I'm an 8. Okay. So I'm going to trim this down a little bit if I can find my clippers. I'm so organized here. That's one thing I need to do is get organized so that everything is where it's supposed to be. And we do sell nail glue, but I love this Gorilla Glue with a brush so much that that's what I've been using, and I haven't actually even tried ours. So I like it because, whoop, because obviously I can't talk with it in my mouth. I love this because you can brush it on and it doesn't dry right away. You can place the nail tip and it doesn't adhere right away. You can move it around, which I almost always put it down crooked. So this is great for me. I can stick it down. And make sure it's straight. I did pretty good that time. I can make sure it's straight before I stick it down. I can actually pop it back off. It takes about 30 seconds to really adhere. So that's the part about it I like. Like I say, I don't know if we can do that with our nail glue or not. I just never have tried because this works so well. And the only reason I'm putting a nail on this finger is because I've got to do these two. They're too short. This one could probably make it, but this one is really short. And you can see I've got the coffin shape going on the rest of my nails, and I just don't want them that far off. So let's see. This one I think is a 6. Let's see. Let me try 7 really quick. And I don't know how well it'll work, but I'm not even going to trim that one. I'm just going to put that tip down right on top of it. It gives it more nail to adhere to. I'll brush it on. I can't tell which one's which. I don't know if I'm doing these right or not. Ah! Crap. And of course that dang number's too little to read. They're almost the same size anyway, so that one's gonna go there. How do you like my professional technique here? I should have done this off camera, but I decided at the last minute to go ahead and do it. Let's see, 6, yeah. That brush already feels like it's hard. I just bought this one. But I used to hate crazy glue back in the day because as soon as you stuck it down, this is being stubborn, as soon as you stuck it down, that was it. There was no, you had to pry it back off if it was crooked, or just make do, which is what I usually ended up doing. So I really like this glue. It's still probably not completely straight, and my tip nippers are upstairs, I know, so I'm gonna have to use these. Okay. These are going to require a lot of filing, so I'm sure I'll do that off camera. Alright, did I do all these nails with primer? I don't even remember. I've got enough primer that they shouldn't be going anywhere. Haha. And my nail beds actually look very healthy. So the dips, they're 9 chemical free. It's a 9 free is a saying in the nail world, and ours are 9 free, so that's good. I need to trim this one. Try not to touch any of my tips. I'm gonna do a quick dip in clear, and then I'm gonna do the French. Where did my clear go? All right, so for this, what I do is I just, my clear is almost empty, so I'm actually gonna do it right out of the jar. I sometimes do the pour over method if the jar is real full, because that keeps it from spilling out everywhere. And one thing that I have had to learn is to get thin coats of base, and to try to stay off the cuticle and off the side, get it all the way to the sidewalls, get it good and covered. And then I'm just going to dip right in clear and let it fall back onto all the way down to the cuticle. And then I'm just going to tap it off. And I've actually gotten way better at this. In the beginning, I would get it all over my cuticle, and I'd create this little ledge, which was not good. Because then when it started growing out, you'd feel it. But I've gotten way better. And again, this is just for a base layer. I'm just going to do one dip in the clear. I haven't yet attempted creating the apex. It's actually very easy with the nail dips, and I need to do that because I have very flat nail plates. But, you know, it's a lot more time consuming too, so. And I just don't feel like doing it today. Now see that one I got a little more on the sides and stuff, so I'm just going to take my natural nail and go along the side to get that off before it hardens. I should probably be using an orange stick so I don't get it all over my nails. Brush the excess off. It dries almost immediately. Just a few seconds and it dries. It's more like super glue. So it creates a good bond to the dip powder. And our dip powders are so fine that they create a really good layer of coverage. And you can touch it and manipulate it if you need to. Again, this is just the clear. I'm just doing one layer of clear on this hand, and then I'll start with the French. It just creates me a good surface to work on. And it's best to use an orange stick so you don't get dip all over your fingers, especially when you're using a color. But since this is clear, I'm not that worried about it. And then the pinky. In the beginning, I always get it really uneven, and it would look a little, you know, a little messy. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, you know, you can go back and look at all my old photos and see the childish looking job that I did. But I have gotten a lot better. Okay, that takes care of it for the clear. I'm gonna also go over clear on top, just to, you know, create a good layer over that French so that I don't file any of my white off when I go to file and buff. Okay. Now this is where it's tricky for me. I'm hoping I can do this good. Okay, I need a cupcake liner for this because this one is so full. I've only used this color a couple of times, and it may actually be too pink. I don't know. Let me get my other color that we usually do for French. This is actually a mix of Pixie Dust and Send Nudes. There's a huge difference in those two. I think I'm going to actually use, this is Tickle Me Pink. It's got a little shimmer in it, but it's a really dark pink, whereas this is really, really light. So I actually think I'm going to do that instead. And I need, let's see, that's one after. I'm actually going to do the pour over method with my pink. I'm kind of nervous doing this on camera. Ooh. Is that brushed off enough? Let's see. Okay. I'm being very deliberate. I'm not normally going this slow, but I'm actually kind of nervous about getting a good coverage layer. And then pour over the pink. This keeps it from getting very much white into it. Whereas if I dipped in it, it would leave some of that white powder behind, which isn't a huge deal, I don't think. But most consultants prefer to do it this way to keep their dips clean. I didn't get enough base coat on that one side. And that is the reason why we do more than one layer. You see where I missed? Or no, it's over here, sorry. I missed that. And see, it's got good sparkle. And then when I activate and do top coat, you'll really be able to see the contrast between the white and the pink. But that is gorgeous. I'm glad I decided to go with the blend of Pixie Dust and Send Nudes. Okay. And for me, I guess making sure I have a really good layer. Let's see, there's a piece of dark something in there. Let's see if I can get it. I want my dip to be nice and even. So it goes on my nail very evenly. Okay. I think I have too much up towards the top. Maybe not. I'm going to dip it twice so that any other dip powder, any liquid that's coming through that powder, soaking in, will pick up that second layer of dip. And then I'm pouring over the pink. And it's going to come right off my finger without any problem. Hey, Miss Lisa, yes, you can. You absolutely can use tips. I have a tip on this finger and these two. And I've done a whole set with tips. It works perfectly fine with tips. Full fake nail, not as good because the only thing adhering to your natural nail is just the glue that you're using. And sometimes with the full nail, it doesn't fit your nail plate correctly, so they will tend to pop off a lot quicker. But with a tip, you've got most of your natural nail exposed, and you can do the dip over both, and it kind of connects them, so it gives you a much stronger adhesion. So yeah, it works great with tips. Works great with tips, works great with your natural nail. That's one thing I love is the flexibility. Hey, Jana. Say hey when y'all join me. I see my number count, but I don't always see who jumps on. It's really weird. Facebook Live is so different now than it used to be. It also sometimes filters comments as well. So if you ask something and I don't answer, I may not see it. Please type it again. Okay, here we go. And again, this is our manicure dipping tray. You can use any color, any design. I go right in just for regular French. It gives me that good smile line. It's not perfect. I've only done French, I think twice. I think this is my second, maybe third time doing French. So it's not perfect by any means. The more I do it, the better it'll get. And I tap it off, and then I do the pour over method for the pink so I don't get white all in there. And this pink is actually a combination of Send Nudes and Pixie Dust are the two colors I'm using. And I tap it off really well. And see, I'm already so much better around my cuticle line. You see the good line around my cuticles. Looks pretty good. I got a little bump there, which we can file off, so that's not a huge deal. This is the tip. I'm actually going to file it just a little bit and shape it up some. And you can do as many layers as you want. I'm going to do 2 full dips with the French. That means that when I get done with this round, I'm going to go back and do it again. Then we're going to activate and then do top coat. Or file and buff and then do top coat. Actually, we'll activate again before we... Oh, not too bad. Okay. I'm just going to brush that off really good to get any filings off there. And I have had customers that literally look like they walk out of the salon the very first time they've done this. Some need a little bit of a learning curve. I needed a learning curve. I was not real good at first. I learned a lot. Pretty much with every dip I did, I learned something. So it actually was kind of fun learning and then sharing with my VIP group the things I learned, and that actually shortened their sometimes it shortened their learning curve for them. And anyone can be in my VIP group. You don't have to be a customer. You just have to request to join. I don't cold add people to groups. So if you want to be added, just let me know and I'll add you. Or if you're a customer, you automatically get added. Nowadays, it's a little different with groups anyway, because you have to actually agree to join a group instead of just be cold added anyway. So I kind of like that, but I still don't cold add people. I wait till they ask me to be added, and I'm more than happy to do that. I share a lot of tips in that group. Although I will admit I haven't been as active lately as I should be because we were on vacation, so I was kind of preoccupied, I guess, doing family stuff and with the holidays and everything like that. But things that apply to customers only, I share in there. Or, you know, nail dip users, I should say. I share in there. Sometimes I share them on my regular page, but usually not. And again, this manicure tray is $5 on our site, and it makes all the difference for doing French. You think you can do a good smile line by yourself, but I cannot at all. And again, I dip twice because any powder that's soaking through, any liquid that's soaking through that first layer of powder, it will pick it up. Hey girl, glad you could join me. I soaked off a while ago and decided to do French. I really wanted to wait until spring for French, but I just wanted to do French, so I couldn't resist. So here's what we got so far. Those are looking really pretty. And I am by no means a nail technician. I have great respect for them because they can make your nails look amazing. I almost always see flaws in mine, but I figure from a glance, people aren't usually going to be all up in your business anyway, looking real close at your nails. So I figure from a glance, they look pretty darn good. And for $2 a manicure or less, or sometimes a little bit more depending on what all you're doing, you can't beat it. So now I'm going to go in with my second dip, my second French. Trying to get my powders straight, get all the wrinkles out of them. And our dip kits actually have everything you need to dip your nails at home. The $65 customer kit is the cheapest kit. The only thing I feel like it's missing is cuticle oil. You definitely need to moisturize your cuticles after you do your nails because dry cuticles with a new set of nails it really makes your nails not look their prettiest. So definitely do something. Even some olive oil out of your kitchen would be better than nothing. But then the $85 kit, and with all of our customer kits, you can actually pick your own colors, which I love. The $65 kit comes with 1 solid and 1 glitter. You can do 2 solids. It's just it'll adjust the price. You could do 2 glitters. It'll take $5 off. Or if you add an extra, if you do 2 solids, it'll add $5 because our solid containers are much bigger than our glitters. Our glitters are 10 grams. Our solids are 20. So it's a really good deal. It's not like you're paying for something you're not getting. So I really like that it does that. And the $85 kit, which is what's it called? The Dipping Fanatic Kit. Is that the big one? Yeah, the Dipping Fanatic Kit is 4 colors, 2 solids, 2 glitters, or a combination, however you want to do it. And it comes with cuticle oil, an extra file. It comes with the metal cuticle pusher, which I highly recommend. It doesn't come in the Dipping Essentials Kit. That's the smaller one. But I highly recommend that because it's a very useful tool. I don't think I got enough dip on that part again. I love doing my nails at home. I actually almost came down here last night at midnight and did them, but I was too tired to get out of bed. So I did not. But that's fun, being able to do them anytime you want at your convenience. You don't have to worry about making an appointment if you have something you want to fix or if you want to change your color or anything like that. Oh, I just felt me get all over my skin with that swipe. I really need one of those nail prop thingies where you put your nail, which I guess I could use a bottle of dip powder. You just gently push into the French down to your white, or down to where your nail bed starts. And a second time to soak up any extra liquid that's soaking through. And then pour over the pink just so you don't, you can put your finger in the bottle, but I only do that if I'm doing one color because that will tend to get white powder in your dip and you don't want to do that. So the pour over is better when you're doing multiple colors. And I love the shimmer in Pixie Dust. That's why I combined it with Sin Nudes. Sin Nudes has shimmer in it as well, but not as much as Pixie Dust. So it actually is a really gorgeous combo. Okay. My stomach is growling. It's talking like it hasn't even eaten today, and it has. I love French. That was one of my go-tos, actually. You know what I'm not doing? I am not capping the ends. We will talk about that in 1 second. I will cap the ends with the clear when I go over it with clear. And again, check out my shirt and my dipping mat. Those were sales prizes that I won. I didn't even realize I was close to winning. And then when I realized it, I was like 39 bucks away to hit by December 31st. And I actually did it. And I appreciate everybody who ordered to help me reach that. And my shirt is actually printed backwards so that it appears correct, and the mat as well, so that it appears correct on screen, on a live. Isn't that cool? I thought that was super cool. I mean, I could have elected to get it printed the correct way, but I thought, you know what, that'll be fun for lives. I'll have it printed to where it shows right on the live. Hubby's back to work and life is back to normal around here somewhat. I'm somewhat caught up on housework that I neglected while he was off. My living room is still a mess. My son even commented, "It's a mess in here." I'm like, I know. He's like, and I didn't even make it for a change. It's all my junk. This tip was a little bit too small for this finger, but that's okay. We can make it work. I didn't want to do it any tips, but for a French, I think it looks kind of wonky when you've got long, beautiful nails and then one is short, one or two are too short. So that's the reason why I wasn't going to do a tip on that finger, but since I had to do 2 tips on the other hand, I said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do a tip because it'll bug me if I don't. And the key to this dip tray is just going really slow, making sure your dip is really even, and then just gently pulling it out so you don't disrupt the dip. It's, you know, it's a little tedious, but it's not hard. It's just tedious. And then okay, there we go. It's really going to show up when I activate. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to brush all of the excess powder off. I'm over here in my garbage can. I guess I can do it up here where y'all can see. I'm going to set this aside, and then this is my clear. Have to make sure because I've mixed them up before. That was not good. The first time I ever did a French, I got them all mixed up. There is a spot there that I have a feeling is going to show if I don't fix it. I've not activated yet, so I'm going real gentle with this file. And And then I'm going to do another quick dip in the, I'm just going to do one extra layer on this whole nail. That way I don't have any weird bumps or anything. Okay, now I'm going to do my clear. Okay. And again, I'm getting a little low, and you know what? This one has all kinds of like silver glitter in it and whatnot, so I'm actually going to open a clean clear because I do not want any random pieces of silver glitter popping up because it will show like a sore thumb. Where's my little, this will work. It pays to have extras of your favorites on hand for times like this when you discover that, oops, I've got glitter all in that. I don't want that jacking up my manicure. So I'm going to need a cupcake liner because this is going to be full. That keeps it from spilling out everywhere. And we're going to do the same thing, base coat, and then dip right into the clear. The clear is going to create a good solid layer so we don't file off any of the white when we go to file. And believe me, it happens. I've done it. And we're going to cap the ends. If you can see what I'm doing, we're going to go just along that outer free edge, and that's going to create a waterproof layer. It's going to keep any moisture from getting underneath and popping them off or anything. Now you're really not going to be able to tell anything about the French until I activate and do top coat. When I activate, it will show up a little bit better. I think we're just going to do one layer of clear. Let's see, I did one layer of clear underneath. I did 2 layers of pink and white, and then I'm doing a layer of clear for the top. So that's 4 layers. And thin coats of base coat and more dips of powder are always better. You're gently going to go at a 45-degree angle because dipping, especially into a full container of dip, will actually create a bump. That was one of my problems in the beginning. You'll see on some of my first videos where I talked about that. Creating that little bump at the back of my cuticle area. This is as simple as painting clear nail polish. You just got to be sure to stay off that cuticle area. And remember, do thin layers. It's not wanting to go on smooth for some reason. And again, across that free edge to create that good layer encapsulation, that's what it's called. You encapsulate the nails. That prevents any moisture from getting underneath and popping them off prematurely. I'm going to do my left hand off camera, but I'm going to do this one to completion so you guys can see. Some of that powder, some of that liquid's peeking through, so I just dip in the clear again. I should have encapsulated with every layer, but I was so focused on doing my French, the white, that I was kind of distracted and forgot about it. Yeah, it's a process for sure. Hey girl, by the way, I didn't see you pop on. It's a learning curve, and once you get your process down, it's easier to remember each time what to do. I'm less distracted when I'm not live doing them. But when I go live, sometimes I talk too much and then I forget what I'm doing or just miss a step. But with this, I was so focused on getting that smile line good, I didn't even think about doing it. It definitely makes a difference with the lifting and the adherence and all. And you can also just lay your nail down in the top of the dip like that. That will also help prevent that bump. Candace, if you get a chance, the last video that I went live earlier to soak off, I talk about the soak off method. If you want to watch that video and see how that works for you. My rice wasn't quite hot enough, but I talk about it all in that video, so. It's a major game changer. Yeah, usually with the chipping and lifting, that's encapsulation issues, as well as it's too thin towards the tip. I'm assuming that your chipping happened out towards the tip. It's too thin of a layer towards the towards the tip. How many layers are you doing? Are you doing like 1 or 2 layers, or are you doing several layers? For me, I just did 4, and mine are still pretty thin towards the tips on some of them, but encapsulating them makes all the difference. Yeah, foil does good too, but the rice actually does it faster. But the foil is probably less messy, and you're able to at least like walk around and stuff, whereas with the rice method, you have to sit still. So it's probably easier with the boys for you to do it with the foil. The foil kind of does the same thing. It warms it up a little bit, but it doesn't warm it up like it does the rice in the microwave. That's the only difference. But yeah, definitely that works fine. All right, I'm going to push all this aside. Now I'm ready to activate. This is a brand new activator. I wanted a clean activator as well because I've got got black on my brush of my other activator. Somehow I started using my clean activator, quote unquote, for my black the other day instead of my dirty one, my one for dark colors. That's one thing I do is I have activator for dark colors and I have activator for really light colors because the color can transfer onto your nails. And you definitely don't want that to happen if you've used something dark like red or black or anything. Yeah, it does warm it up. Same with the rice. It can almost burn you if you're not careful, especially if you find a hot pocket there. But it speeds up the process so much as opposed to just regular acetone. We actually have these cool dip clips that go right over your nails. You soak You soak a lint-free pad, which is the consistency of like a dryer sheet, but double. And it doesn't give you any lint or anything. And I fold it, you can fold it over and then clip it on with the clips. And that's really convenient too. But it's certainly not as fast as the rice method. I do have a brush saver. I rarely use it though, to be honest. The times that I do use it, you just got to be sure that you clean off your base coat or top coat, whichever brush you're doing, and dry, and also your brush saver. Some of the girls will actually wash their brushes, allow them to dry, and then put them in those, into the brush saver and back into the, you know, clean it off again and wash it and everything, to keep from contaminating your liquids. It's very easy to contaminate your liquids. So that's something you got to watch really close. I'm actually gonna, did I activate once? I think I only did one coat of activator. We have a lot of cool accessories you may want to check out, Candace. You know, if you're happy with the dip powders that you've got through there, the accessories that we have are still good accompaniments. We have cute, I feel like they're good prices. Not that I've went comparing everywhere else, but I also love the quality of our products, and our company owners are amazing. And I trust them fully. They're very transparent with us. They tell us things that they probably shouldn't tell us. And I love that. But we have good cuticle oil. We have rhinestones and ribbons and foil. What are they called? The real skinny lines, the shiny, what am I trying to say? Like the tape, the really skinny tape that you can design. No, I do not activate between every line, every layer. I do all of my base and top, base and dip, ever how many times I want, and then I activate on top of that. And then what I do is file and buff, which I'm gonna do just a little bit of filing and buffing. I did a layer of clear over this to protect my white so that I didn't, yes, foil tape, that's, I couldn't think of what it was called. You knew what I meant though. But we have all kinds of awesome accessories, extra brushes and files. Our files are like $2. I love the C-curved file. It's my favorite. So a lot of really low cost accessories. And again, I'm just doing a little bit of shaping. I'm gonna buff with my nail block over there. I mean, honestly, I don't think it serves any purpose to activate between every layer. It just, you know, it uses up your activator and it takes a lot longer to do your nails. What you got to do, you got to be careful. Like if you do extra layers of the dip, you got to be sure that you're using enough activator to get through all those layers so it hardens all the way through. That's something to know as well. We actually have the art brushes and everything. We have all kinds of tools for applying the ribbons and we have foil adhesive, and we have like the long ribbons, which I think our box of ribbons are like $8 a piece, and it comes with, I think it's 12, it's either 10 or 12 different designs, and they're really long, so they last forever. So you could actually share with friends if you wanted to, or like if your mom does her nails, you could share with her. I was very impressed with the amount of product we got. Okay, that feels really weak right there. I may actually have to dip that again in clear. Maybe I didn't apply enough activator up there. All right, so I'm gonna use my rough side of my buffing block. You can use the coarser file to do this, but I only do if I have bumps. Oh, I'm doing the wrong side. I only do it if I have bumps, like really bad areas that need filing down. And the first time I ever did French, I did not do a clear layer on top, and I filed right through the white. It doesn't take much to file through that white, so that's the reason. I've loved it though. It's been a game changer for me. And I used to go to the salon every 3 weeks and get my nails done. So it's a real budget saver as well. Especially now that I'm finished buying all the dips. I went a little crazy, but now I've got all the colors. So if I get any kind of whim, I pretty much have most of the colors. That's how I do though. I go off the deep end about stuff. We have a 4-way buffer as well that's separate. I never use it, to be honest. I just don't feel like I need it, really. I normally don't even file and buff after I do activator. I usually, you know, unless I have some kind of bump or something that needs working on. I'm just doing this to kind of demonstrate, really. And I guess we should. I don't know. I don't really know if it makes a difference, to be honest. This side is much finer. So this gives you a really smooth, almost glassy surface. And we also have a glass nano file, which I've heard is the bomb. I have one. I just got it recently, and I haven't used it yet. So I'm kind of curious about what actually that brings. So I may give that a try at some point, but not right now. I need to get done. I need to make dinner. It's getting late around here, I think. I don't even know. 4:06. Hubby's usually on his way home by now. I got a little bit of black. I'm just kind of filing on my skin there to see if I can get that black off. Okay, I'm going to activate really good, and I'm going to pay attention to the ends because... yeah, I wish I could have done with gel polish. I never could. I had to have acrylics done. And if I got gel polish on top, that was just a bonus because then I didn't have to stick around and wait for it to dry. But my nails are so paper thin, I can't do gel polish or shellac or any of that other stuff that was popular. So that's why I was very surprised when I got this, and it helped. You know, I was able to... I don't have any breakage issues, and I've been out digging in landscaping over the summer and everything, and no problems. Also, if you ever have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me. I'm glad to answer any questions. Because, believe me, I know it's a learning curve. I've actually got a lot of videos on my YouTube channel. I'll send you a link to that if you want to check some of those out. Even my very first dips, I posted on my YouTube channel. Even though I didn't really know what I was even doing. Yeah, I kind of hated it, to be honest, because it's supposedly not good for your nails, where this is not bad for your nails. And my nails actually look healthier than ever before. I've got a little bump right there. I think I need to... And then you can hear they kind of click the way it would if nail polish was dry. And that's how you know your activator is dry and hard. So then I'm ready for top coat. And I always do 2 layers of top coat because the first one doesn't come out as shiny. The second one really makes them shine. See how shiny? Yeah, that means they're good and hard. Because that's one thing you got to be careful of. If you apply your top coat too quickly and it gets any of that activator on that brush and you stick it back in your top coat bottle, it will contaminate. And it's not hard to contaminate. I'm not going to lie to you. It's actually pretty easy. So if this is something you want to do like all the time, you may want to order extra base coat and top coat, because I've never made it beyond about, I actually made it almost to half a bottle of base coat before I well, actually I didn't contaminate the last base coat. I actually broke the bottle, because I also have a good video on bottle care if you want that. I'm right at a half a bottle, but it glued the lid shut, and we had been prying it off. Like, I'd been getting Greg and Dean to both open it, and they were gone, so I was prying it, and it just broke. So you got to be careful about that. Good bottle care is key, so I'll send you some info on that. There's things you can do to keep from gluing your lids down. And with ours, our brushes actually come out of the top of the lid. So if you do, usually that's what I end up doing. You asked if I had a brush saver. I think it was you that asked if I had a brush saver. I actually just switch the brushes out if they start getting gummy and gross or whatever, or splaying out, like where the bristles are all jacked. I'll just switch it out to a new replacement brush. We sell those, I think they're $4.75 for a pack of 5 of them. I actually usually send those if I do, yeah, like when I do giveaways and stuff, and there's a prize pack or whatever, I usually drop a couple of those in the prize pack, because they're good to have on hand, because you never know when you're going to have a jacked up brush. And nothing is worse than going and sitting down ready to do your mani, and you're excited about doing it, and then you can't because your base coat or your top coat are jacked. Which, by the way, I don't know about yours, but for ours, you can interchange them. You don't get as shiny of a top coat with the base coat. Like say your top coat is all jacked and you can't use it, it's all messed up. You can use the base coat as a top coat, but it doesn't give you that true shiny like the top coat does. It does good in a pinch, but you know. So you might could do that as well with yours. I don't see why you couldn't, to be honest. Okay, all of my fingers look somewhat ombre except for that one with the tip on it. That one with the tip is more of a defined smile line, which I actually love the ombre. I had experimented a little bit with the ombre on a nail swatch, and I didn't like the way it was looking, because it was looking too like choppy, and the way I was doing it, it would have come out straight instead of following the natural curve of the nail or the natural smile of the nail. So I decided not to do ombre for that reason, but this actually looks really good. It actually almost looks ombre, except for that ring finger. That ring finger, for some reason, is much more defined. Okay, that's with one top coat. And Candace, another thing, again, some of the advice I'm giving you may not necessarily apply, because I don't know. Our dip liquids and powders are different from other companies, so I'm not really sure. But I will say that sometimes my top coat takes a lot longer to dry than others. So be aware of that, because a couple times I've stuck my finger right to it thinking it would be dry. It was not. Sometimes it dries super fast. Sometimes it takes a minute or so. Okay, going in with my second coat. I'm anxious to see how they turn out. Say hey when you join me. I know I love it, and I'm sad that it took me this long to find it. Dipsy Dip is based in Florida, and they've only been in business since May of 2019. But they did a lot of research about products and everything, and I feel like they really hit the mark. Like, I don't have anything to compare it to, because I've never used any other dip powders, but some of our consultants have. One of our consultants refused to buy from a friend. She's like, no, I'm done with trying dip powders. Oh, you're talking about you thought your top coat would be dry and it wasn't? Yeah, for some reason, sometimes it dries super fast, and then other times it takes a minute. I don't know why. I don't know what the difference is. I've even gotten bored of waiting, because I'm all about instant gratification. Like, I want things to happen like right now, especially if they're supposed to happen right now. I'm really impatient. And I've even went over it with activator, but that actually takes some of the shine away. So that's really not a viable option. It doesn't show as pretty on camera as it is in real life. I am extremely happy with these. It does look like there's a couple of spots that are a little too sheer, like maybe I didn't get enough base coat and then the white powder. But I'll know more when I take out my contacts tonight and I can shove them up in my face and really see what I'm doing. Say hey when you join me. I don't even know who else here except Candace. Candace, I'm glad you could join me. I'm hoping you learned some things from me. I'll share all the info that I can think of. And if you want to be added to my VIP group, I'll add you. I automatically add customers, but I said earlier that I'll add anybody that wants to be added. So if you want to be added, I can add you. And there's some helpful videos in there. I'll send you the link to my YouTube channel and all that. And you can learn as much as you can from me. I'm glad to share. And if you run into any problems, you can message me. I'm happy to answer anything. What all colors did you get? Hey, Becky. Long time no see, girl. How are you? What are you up to these days? Happy New Year, by the way. I hope you had a good New Year's and Christmas and everything. Thanksgiving. I'm just going to sit here and chit-chat as long as y'all want to. And then when y'all get bored of me, I'll sign off. But I've got to do this whole hand anyway. So I'll chit-chat with y'all while y'all are here. I should probably make sure these are dry before I start filing and messing around. Yep, it's still a little bit wet. Yeah, they're still wet. Oh, cool. So you can play. Like which ones do you think are going to be your favorite so far? And again, they look different in the jar than they do on your nails. It's hard to tell. So hopefully you have some kind of picture or chart or something showing the colors where you can tell what they look like. I have been literally shocked at some of them that I've tried. Namely this Pixie dust. The sparkle in it, you can't even see the glitter because it's so super tiny, but it shimmers. It's so pretty. Oh, I love silver shimmer. I'm not a fan of big chunky glitters, even though I'm not quite as OCD about chunky glitters as I used to be, because I know I have the stuff here to change it if it starts bugging me. So I have stepped outside my box a little bit, but mine had to be super, super, super fine glitter. Oh, I will, girl. I'm trying to do it every time I do my nails just because it's fun and I like to talk. And even if nobody's here, I'll still talk to the camera. I can see myself, so I just talk to myself. I post them on my YouTube channel. So I have a lot of videos on my YouTube channel, which is linked in my bio on my page, my personal page. Muffin, get out of that. Stop. No. 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 She likes to mouth back. Could y'all hear her chittering? Muffin, stop it. Get down. Get down. Oh, here it is. I was going to say I don't have my water gun up here. Get down. Get down. Get down. Go. She's a mess. Okay. Okay, hear it clicking? Okay, we're good to go now. All right, so this will actually be like beginning to end right here, Becky. So if you can hang out with me, this will be exactly what I did on this hand. It'll just be my other hand. And like I said, I'll hang out as long as y'all want to hang out and chat. I'll share info with y'all. I'm loving it though. I like having long nails, and I can't grow my own nails because they're so super paper thin. And I've never been able to have nails unless I went to the nail shop and got acrylics. Honestly, it varies. If it's a little tiny spot, I'll just do another layer of top coat and let it dry. Or if it's really bad, I'll file it off. And depending on how bad or how much I need to file off, I may file the whole thing off, do activator again, let it dry, and then do top coat again. So it depends on how much is messed up. the majority of the time, it's just like where I touch it, I'll feel that it's sticky, and then I'll see that it's jacked up, and I'll just take the top coat and go over it again. It covers it up. Cool. I'm glad you could hang out with me. I like it when I have friends to hang out with and chat with. I don't look like such a crazy person talking to the camera. Anyway, it's really hard to tell in the jars what the color's going to look like. That's another reason I bought all the swatches. I have all the colors on a swatch, or on swatches, and I have them separated by colors I have in my personal stock and that I don't. So it's really helpful to see what it looks like in person. Because even the pictures on the website don't always look like the dips do in real life. I'm not even joking, I've been shocked at some of them when I open them up and try them out. This one looks a little long to me. I may have to trim it a little bit. I might have put 2 new layers of top coat. Maybe I should have put that. Well, activator helps it to dry quickly. That's part of what helps to activate it. I mean, you don't want your activator to be wet. You want to let your activator completely dry. And even some people even choose to go over it with an alcohol wipe to get all the excess activator off and then do top coat. I don't do that. It's just, I want to get there as quickly as possible. So I bypass all the steps that I don't need necessarily, but that's something to keep in mind. You might want to try that. But honestly, if your top coat is doing fine, if it shined up and it looks pretty and it's not chipping or anything crazy, then you're probably fine. So I wouldn't worry about it. It's crooked. This is the problem I have with the shaping. It drives me crazy. I'm not real good at shaping. And then I'll be messing with them all night probably and coming in here and filing them down and doing things to them. The other day when I did the black for New Year's, I did the black back on the 26th of December, and I was in here all day and all evening, and Greg's like, are you ever going to finish with your nails? And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe. Okay, good enough. So do you still have your same dips on from before, or have you changed colors? If you've changed colors, to what did you change to? What I'm doing now is I'm actually filing the tip to kind of get rid of the bump in between my natural nail and the tip to make it kind of even. I'm filing my natural nail just a little bit. I try not to file it at all, really, because it is so paper thin. And then I do the coffin shape, so I'm filing some of my dark nails on, but I've had to replace the chip nails. Yes, try an extra dip or just a little bit thicker top coat out towards the end. Not top coat, base. Well, top coat will help too, but base coat and then dip. They don't have to be super thick, especially if your nails are short. And I would have to ask the other consultant, but she had used 4 different dip companies, and her friend got started with Dipsy Dip, and she's like, you try this, you're going to love it. She's like, no, I'm done with that. And she refused like several times. She said like 3 or 4 times she told her no. And finally she said, okay, fine, I'll give it a try. And she ordered a customer kit. And she said as soon as she tried it, and I'm not telling you this to try to get you to buy my stuff. I'm just telling you this for information. Because if you chronically have chipping issues, it could be the actual dip powder. Because there are dip powders out there that are coarser than ours, and they tend to chip easier. And they just don't perform as well. I can ask her for details if you want to know details. She's actually on my Facebook page, so I can actually do a post and I can tag you in the comments and ask her to tell me like exactly what her experience was, if you want. But she said that as soon as she did her nails that time, she signed up as a consultant with our 99-cent option because she already tried the products, so she knew she loved the products. So she signed up as a consultant that night, and she's one of our top sellers. So, and she's such a sweetheart. Oh my gosh. All long except my thumbnails, not as long as yours, but definitely not short. Okay, well that makes a difference as well. The longer they are, the thinner they tend to be on the ends. So just try to work with it a little bit and play around. I don't know if you can tell. It kind of gets blurry, don't it? I don't know if you can tell. Mine are not super, super thin, but they're not super thick either. Can you tell? And I never have chipping issues. I've never had problems with them chipping. And sometimes they seem like they are too thin, but I've just never had any issues. And usually when mine start lifting, it's towards the back where the cuticle is. That's where mine lift. But I usually get at least 2 weeks, maybe 3 out of a set. These I've had on since the 26th, and I just simply wanted to change colors. I've been thinking about French for a while, actually, and wanting to do French. I haven't done French since summer, actually, around May, or maybe June, I don't know. I'm just trying to get all the black. I think yours are too thicker on the tips than mine are. I'm not encapsulating mine properly, probably. The encapsulation makes all the difference. It really does. It gives you that extra strength, and it creates that waterproof seal where you shouldn't have lifting as quickly, or any kind of separation or whatever. Because moisture getting under there is the one thing that will cause them to lift. See, this one's so paper thin. I don't know. I don't know if you can tell how thin. That's my natural nail. I don't know if you can tell how thin that is. It's like paper. I have to be very careful when I'm filing my natural nails. See, I think I just ripped that one. Or maybe it's just crooked. I can't tell. Say hey when you join me. Tell me what you're up to. Tell me what's for dinner if it's anything exciting. I haven't done anything to cook for dinner yet. My husband's usually on his way home by now. It is 4:26 here. And he's usually headed off before now. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say that out loud or not. Okay. So these are pretty much ready. Now I gotta push my cuticles back. Where is my, oh. One nail that is torn and the dips have kept it from total. Yes, there's been a rare occasion where I'll be working in the kitchen or whatever, and I'll have a nail issue or whatever, and I go right away and take care of it. Like if I have a pop off or anything, which I think it's happened like once that I remember, I'll come straight in here and dip it. Or yeah, that's the cool thing about it. And if you're where you can fix it right then, it'll save your nail for sure. And I actually, I'll have to send you the link. Remind me. I actually repaired one of mine with a coffee filter. It was actually this one. And there's still coffee filter on there. It actually, instead of being square like this, it kind of like drooped down over here like it was broken off. Does that make sense? So I took a piece of coffee filter and I just cut a little square out and I kind of shaped it the coffin shape, you know, how it's kind of tapered a little bit. I cut it to where it was tapered a little bit and glued it down, and then I did the dip over it, and I didn't need to add a tip, so I really like that. That's a fun tip that, you know, and I keep them. I've got a few of them somewhere around here, but I keep them, and it just takes that little piece. Oh, okay, so you saw that, so that's awesome. There's a little tip for you as far as nail repair goes. Because, you know, if you've got a long, pretty nail, you don't want to cut the whole thing off and put a tip on. Like, I know I didn't. I was going to leave it just like that, but doing the black nails, I'm like, I can't. I have to fix it. I'm pretty sure it was with my black set. Okay, so I got to push my cuticles back. And I actually forgot to do this with my black set. I forgot to push the cuticles back and scrape away that invisible cuticle. So that's another reason why I decided to go ahead and soak them off, because I knew they wouldn't last a whole lot longer because I didn't do proper nail prep. I don't know. It just slipped my mind. I'm not sure. I glued it. Yeah, I did. I personally love this. It's called Gorilla Glue Brush and Nozzle. And you can screw this part off and use it as a drippy glue, but I always use the brush. And that's what I always use for my tips and stuff. See, it's got a little brush on the end. Because it doesn't dry right away. You can actually put a tip down, look at it. If it's crooked, you can pick it back up and you can manipulate it. Whereas crazy glue, back in the old days, once you glued it down, that was it. You were done. You had to either rip it off or let it wear off. But I love that stuff. Now, we sell nail glue, and I've never used our nail glue because I use this, and it, you know, I'm happy with that. So that's just what I keep. It also doesn't, I got almost completely to the bottom of the last container of it before the brush got all gunky. So I highly recommend the Gorilla Glue because for me, I always set my nail tips down crooked, almost always, and I have to reposition them. So that has been a lifesaver for me, being able to do that. I'm still not great at it. Like, sometimes it still comes out crooked. But at least you have that grace period where you can pull them up if you need to. I don't know if y'all can hear my kitty chortling. She's very vocal right now. It's very awkward to do this with my non-dominant hand. I know it looks backwards to y'all, but I'm working on my right hand with my left hand. It looks backwards to y'all, but I am right-handed, so it's very difficult. This is the tedious part and the not fun part. I can. Did you want to be added in my VIP group? I'm pretty sure I made a post about it in there. There's not a bunch of info in there, but there's some good, helpful stuff in there. Like I say, it's for anybody that wants to be added. It's not necessarily just customers, so you don't have to, you know, it's no big deal whatsoever. I don't mind anybody being in there. I kind of did it to not flood my personal page with stuff, you know, a place to communicate with customers and people who are using dips versus those that don't care and wish they didn't see it in their newsfeed every time they turned around. But yeah, I bought it at Walmart, I bought it at Joann's, and Home Depot, I believe, all three. My son uses it too. He's the one that actually told me about it. I needed glue, and I didn't have any at the time. And he said, well, you can use my glue. And when I tried it, I'm like, this stuff is the bomb. Okay, well, have a good evening. I'm glad you could hang out with me. It was fun. I enjoy chatting with somebody other than myself. Hey, Aunt Shelley, how are you? Time for next shift, huh? Candace has to go. Shelley just signed on. Yay. Awesome. Did y'all have a good Christmas and Thanksgiving and New Year's? You too, Candace. Thanks for hanging out with me, girl. Okay, I'm ready to... Okay, this is going to be all backwards for me now. Why has this got a hump in it? Is there something underneath here? just got this all over myself. So, going in with my nail primer, I do 2 layers of nail primer just on my natural nail. If you're doing tips, you don't do it on tips. You just do it on your natural nail. I do have a tip on this one, so just gonna do my natural nail. Tip on this one. This one's my natural nail, so I'm gonna do the whole thing. Oh, I'm glad you had a good one. Where do you work at? Hopefully you love it. Second layer of primer. And this is just me. If you can get away with 1 layer, it's fine. I do 2 because I have oily nail beds. Appellation Security. Oh, cool. All right, now this feels backwards to me, so give me a second to kind of switch around what I'm doing here. All right. My kitty is getting scolded by my son. Okay, and again with the nail dipping tray, I'm just going to push in up to where my nail bed is and get that good smile line going. And then I'm going to dip again. Tap it off. Oh, awesome, that's good. And I'm doing the scoop method because I don't want to get any of my white powder in there. I mean, obviously a little bit might fall in there. It's not a big deal, but I don't want to shove that nail down in there with that white powder all over it. And then tap it off. And again, the contrast between the French will show a lot better once I activate and top coat. Girl, I can barely do my own. I am not a nail tech for sure. I cannot do other people's nails. I have tried to get Greg to let me practice on him, but he will not. I'm like, we can just do clear. Nobody will even know. He's like, no, you're not dipping my nails. So I can't practice on anybody. And then layer number 2. And then I'm going to scoop the pink. This is awkward with my non-dominant hand too. In fact, when I first started out, I was not any good at all. So it took me quite a while to actually get to where they looked good. Did you? I love that when the daddies will let their daughters do their nails. That's awesome. I had a friend that their daughter would do her dad's nails, and I can't remember. I think it was his toenails. I don't think he'd let her do his fingernails, but she did do his toenails, and like every week, it was like all the time. It was really cute. this is coming out way better than I thought it would. For it being the non-dominant hand. Girl, I know you do. Nobody can replace the daddies. Okay. And then when I tap the tray, I'm just smoothing out that pile of dip so it's not all like ripply and jacked up. So that I get a really good dip, a really good smile line, straight, not straight smile line, but where it's supposed to be. And this is not hard as it is tedious. It's very tedious getting it. You just got to be careful to slide it in so slowly and make sure it's covering all areas of your nail tip all the way down to the nail bed. And then scoop over the pink. And tap off. You'd let me do it, right? He won't let me. I'll talk him into it one day. I just won't be able to tell anybody that I did it. Actually, he'll probably get to the point where he lets me do it and then says he don't care. Yeah, I am by no means a nail person. Like I say, it took me a long time to learn all the ins and outs of it. Oop, I didn't get that one quite far enough. That's another reason we do 2 dips. Oh, I didn't get base coat over there. That's what happened. I should be cooking right now. It's getting late. It's almost 5 o'clock here. Yeah, I really jacked that one up. That's okay though. I missed some there too. I don't know if you can see that spot. Yeah, you can. And then see that one? But that's why we do two dips.
Yellow. Hey. She is.
There's my hub. Yay! Tell him I'll call him in a few minutes.
I will call you in a few minutes. I've been good.
It's very hot in here too. Okay. Okay, and again, it gets that good smile line going. And then pink on top. And you're just doing the white over where you've already done it, just to cover up any areas that you may have missed. And you can touch the dip and manipulate it. That's what I'm doing right now because there was a spot that looked like it wasn't sticking. I love the way these turned out so much. Hopefully I'll be able to take a good picture and get a good picture to show up. They never come out as pretty though as they look in person. I'm learning why in the videos that they hold the nail straight down and tap it, because I'm actually getting white powder up in the part where it should be pink. So that's something to know too. Hold it straight down and tap. All right, thanks for popping on. It was good chatting with you. Say hey when you join me. I see people are here, but I can't tell who it is. I hope you're not squirting her just to be squirting her. Dean.
What?
I hope you're not squirting her just to be squirting her.
No, she's jumping up on the table.
Oh, okay. Well, say no, remember?
No.
When you squirt her, so she associates it with the word no.
But don't jump up on the table.
Oh, this is turning out way better than I thought it would. Hey, Kelly Deal. I didn't see you pop on. I'm loving these.
No, my friend. No. Get down, my friend. No.
You're saturating things in there.
Well, I'm trying to get her most.
Okay. Okay, well, I need to go call hubby since he's on his way home. I am almost done with this hand. I'll activate and top coat and file and buff and all that good stuff. Not in that order. This is the way they look. I'm going to try to get a good picture at some point, somehow. But I'm loving the way they turned out. Thanks for watching. Post any questions you have in the comments. Let me know if I can help you in any way. I'm having fun learning how to do all this. I can share good tips with you. Thanks. Bye.